What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Sheila Marie. All right. It's been an interesting week. With Donald Trump officially in office, there's been a noticeable shift energetically in our country and possibly beyond. Things are different now. When the election results first came out, I was so shaken, like I couldn't meditate for a week. I just couldn't maintain my sense of centeredness. Like I couldn't relax. I felt that what I had learned about the people around me was really ugly, and it started to be some kind of like psychological witch hunt. Like inside of my mind, I'd be walking around like trying to figure out like, yo, who was it? Was it you? Did you vote for him? Did you know what I mean? I kind of lost a lot of faith in the people around me. I felt very clearly that what won in this election with Donald Trump was misogyny, bigotry, white supremacy, fear, and hate. And that was a very unsettling message for me. I like to consider myself someone who sees the good in things, right? And I make it a point to see to focus on what I want to magnify. And what I want to magnify are the brilliant parts of humanity and how we can create things and how we can connect to each other. But I felt like energetically what came through after the election was the ugly side of humanity and how people are actually living in such fear and hate. I fought with strangers on Twitter, like, you know what I'm saying? I was scrolling comment sections, looking for somebody to pop off on, and, you know, I got into it on Facebook. Me and my dad even got into it. Dad, you could get it too, like, what's up? Update, me and my dad are just fine. We have since reconciled. So don't be like Sheila. Be better than Sheila. Because what I did was lower myself to a standard that I'm not proud of. And I wasn't proud of all those interactions I was having. And I felt bad about who I was becoming. And I realized that responding like that and lowering your frequency does not promote any change, any peace, any healing, and absolutely no happiness. And that's not the route that I want to go. So, what can you do if you are a like-minded individual and you find yourself losing your ability to make centered decisions during political conversations? Well, I'm here to give you 3 tips for how to stay calm and keep your zen when talking to assholes about politics. Number 1, understand the difference between approval and acceptance. Acceptance is, my neighborhood dentist has a Trump sticker on his car. That's interesting. Acceptance is a sense of curiosity. There's a sense of openness. It is what it is. You're just noticing what's happening. Approval is, my neighborhood dentist voted for Donald Trump. I agree. I support that belief. I support that decision. Those are not the same thing. You can accept without approving. And that's what I'm promoting here, is to accept people's choices without approving of them. When you accept someone else, you also do the same thing for yourself. And when you radically accept someone else, you also radically accept yourself. What you are accepting in that person, you are accepting in yourself. What you give to others, you also give yourself. And when you are approving or disapproving, there's a sense of a value judgment there where you're saying, I think this is a good thing or I think this is a bad thing. And that judgment you also give to yourself. And when you are disapproving of someone or approving, there's a sense of either rejection, where you are disowning parts of yourself that you don't want to identify with. For example, if you are criticizing someone for being a Trump supporter, even though he supports racism and bigotry, but you're calling this person names and saying how stupid they are for voting for him, you are essentially perpetuating the same thing you're critiquing. Right? You are rejecting that part of yourself, which also categorizes people you don't know. The other thing other than rejection that you could be doing is projection, where instead of dealing with your own junk, you project it on someone else and criticize them because it's easier to criticize someone else than it is to work on yourself. And that's a lot of what happens in these discussions. So we can try to avoid doing that and do something higher. I am not saying that I approve of people's behavior or that we should say things are okay. That is not at all what I'm saying. The point is, the more we can refrain from judgment And the more we can notice what's going on without being super attached to it, the more likely we are to be able to change it. If I get all caught up in how much I disapprove of this person and I judge them and I call them names, there will absolutely never be a chance for me to change that person in a positive way. Number 2, focus on yourself. Look in the mirror, okay? I know it's hard, but we're not trying to be average normal human beings. We're trying to be amazing human beings. We're trying to be the human beings that shift the energy on the planet. So in doing that, we can focus on ourselves. That's a really great gift you can give yourself. So check your own bias. If you are in a comment war with somebody and you're getting all heated, take a second, and you don't have to do this publicly if you don't want to, but check your own bias. Check your beliefs. Are you being judgmental? Maybe there are some issues or beliefs in you that need shifting. Why does this person that you don't know on the internet upset you? What's really upsetting you? What core belief is that person highlighting that maybe needs healing or shifting? From focusing on what we don't want to focusing on what we do want. We focus on what we can't control. It makes us feel discouraged and out of control ultimately. So that's why I like focusing on what we can control, and we can control ourselves, right? And when we change ourselves, we become an inspiration to other people. When we try to spend our time changing people who are unwilling, you waste energy and you give away your personal power. Absolutely don't do what I did, okay? And try to convince people and try to persuade people to see your perspective. Maybe the stronger choice is just being that change that you want to see. So if you want to see a world in which people care more about each other, or you want to see a world in which people can have true dialogue about issues, do that. Have true dialogue. Listen to what someone else is saying. Respond without lashing out at them. Be the change you want to see. That's a huge cliche, I know, but sometimes cliches exist because they're true. And last but not least, 3, protect your peace. This is such an important piece of this whole puzzle. You have to protect your personal peace. You have to protect your space. You have to stay centered, because it is so important right now for everyone to be vibrating at a high frequency. And if you allow people to enter your space and disrupt that harmony, and notice I'm saying allow because we do make the choice. If you allow people to disrupt you, you do give away your personal power, and you do ultimately give more power to that which you don't want. What's going to be so important moving forward is for us to have a hyper awareness of what's going on. It's going to be important to be reading a lot, to be following up on what's happening, and then also disengage from it so we don't get wrapped up in it, right? And the way that we can do that is by honoring our logical mind, which is reading articles, following up, watching whatever news outlet that you watch. That's your logical brain. And then also your spiritual and your soul intelligence, which is there to serve you also. And if you only prioritize one, you're going to be missing out. So what I advise is to maintain your peace. Stay centered. See what your soul intelligence, what deep down, what do you think about what's going on? It's going to be so important moving forward to maintain your spiritual and soul intuition so that you can discern what is right, what is wrong, what's happening for yourself, not for anyone else. And that's really what's going to make the change. Because when you do connect with yourself, you do maintain a sense of connectedness with other people around you. And all of these really seemingly important structures that we've set up to separate ourselves, like race and political affiliation, which are absolutely important. But what I'm saying is they are not the end all be all. We are more than that. When you connect with someone on a human level, which first requires a connection with yourself on a human level, you start to realize how those things break down. Majority of us are more alike than we are different, right? Those billionaires and politicians don't probably share the same lived experience as you. That person on Twitter that you're fighting with is more likely to share a similar lived experience than you, though, right? And so we have to realize that these things are built up to keep us separate, but we all kind of, more than not, want the same things. We want to be happy. We want to be healthy. We want to work and do something that we like. Let that be our focus, and let that be the thing that drives you in these political discussions, and not like whether you're right or whether you're proving your point to some on Twitter. I hope this has helped in some way. Thank you, and may the force be with you.